So welcome everyone. Today we have Michael Toma here on the channel to kind of share. He went to the Trader Expo recently. Michael will share about his experience at the Trader Expo, things you've learned, a few lessons, a few takeaways that he got from that expo. I was good to meet traders, so looking forward to hear of his thoughts. I couldn't be there, but Michael, welcome on the podcast, welcome on the channel. Good to have you here, and let's kind of go through things you learned at the expo.
Yeah, sure. I mean, great time. Obviously, they hold them in the U.S. in a few different spots. One was Orlando, but the kind of big one is the one in Vegas. And if you have a choice between like Des Moines, Iowa, or Las Vegas, you're going to go to Vegas, and it's always a great time. Usually, you walk back with a lot of memories. Most of them probably outside of the Traders Expo space. A lot of traders kind of running to the sports book in between sessions and things like that. So a lot of good stuff. And I always like that sort of workcation kind of style. It kind of keeps me very engaged. And also, hey, we deserve to have a little fun, don't we?
So before we go in, make sure you guys give a like the video today. I would love to see if you have any comments too below that you can always comment and post. Any takeaways you got from this video, make sure you post them below. If you're just happy to see us and join us in this video, comment below as well. Give it a like to the video. It will mean a lot, of course, to get a bit more engagement, get some more reach in the video too, to get more people to see it and to come across these good things. I know a lot of people kind of don't like that we don't have a lot of traders who are new to this. They like to see people who are more kind of experienced. Michael has a lot of years of experience in the market. But it's kind of cool to share these advice. They don't get a lot of views because people like to see the shiny stuff. But any like would be highly appreciated. And we can go and Michael can share his first takeaway from that Trader Expo. So you can go right ahead.
Well, let's start with some shiny stuff. Here you go. There's keep your content views going. So yeah, let's start with some shiny stuff. Here was the very interesting thing that when I met and I had breakout sessions, I had group sessions, I had meet and greet, a few meet and greets, things like that. So I really got a good blend, and we also had a table of a bunch of other pro traders one night, and let's just say the beers were flowing, but it was really good. It was really good takeaway. The first thing, this is the very interesting thing. We'll start with is the majority of the traders who are successful, and we were talking about it, and some of them, I mean, they have a lot nicer cars than me. Their strategies ridiculously simple. I mean, there were a couple of times where I said, wait a second, that's what you do? What about market context? What about confluence? What about risk management? Now they have risk management stuff, but it was very simple. Like a 12-year-old could pretty much not only write it on a napkin, but a 12-year-old can pretty much understand it. Actually, even question my strategy and say, maybe I'm being a little bit too complex, with a lot of the overlays and confluence, and So I mean, real simple. Hey, first 5-minute bar, the break of the bar, go long. Okay, so what about the manager? No, you just let it go, close the end of the day. You get stopped out. I'm like, okay, that's good. So how you doing? Actually, I'm like 40% a year. Now, there was a couple little nuances they factor in, and they have some market savvy. But anyway, the bottom line was super, super napkin type style trading strategies. Something I took away that I have to get my act together on.
Tell me about the work ethic. So a lot of traders are either kind of going sometimes too hard at it. They want to spend 10 hours at the chart. They want to really get at it. Some traders are more hands off, like us. We want to have some freedom. Tell me about the work ethic. Some things you learned from like what is required to become a good trader.
Yeah, I think, and this is a topic that kind of kept repeating itself in my discussions, and especially at my sort of, happy hour table there over at the Bellagio, is one of those things where we all, like, many of us were coaches as well, and we kind of had that sort of pain where, like, we get it, but things have changed in the sense where, everything's expected to be done remotely, and, Zoom link, and, if I can't watch it, how about the recording? Could you send me the link? We found that we question the ethic and stuff, not necessarily the work hours, but the ethic and drive to really understand the business of trading. And it's all focused on setups and strategy. I mean, Etienne, like most of the questions you get is, can you tell me about the strategy? Can you tell me about the setup? And that kind of was a little disappointing. I mean, we felt that, it's about building a better you, and understanding markets, how they move, how traders get into panic situations and how we could take advantage of that, where it was more about like, so I enter at this moving average, right, Mike? That kind of stuff. So disappointing. We also noticed at the expo, we kind of had a little chuckle over it. Now this is, the beers are flowing at this point, but we were like, did you ever notice when you go to these, like, they have these breakout sessions, and a lot of people will be running in like a minute before the session. Again, they'll question that. But then 5 minutes later, you'd see a lot of scrambling. Like, what's that? And yeah, we all agree. Like, there were people who went in for 5 minutes, didn't like what they heard, and quite honestly, the speaker probably barely just got started, and they're hopping to another one. So we had these like hoppers, and we're saying like, how are you going to learn? It's crazy. I mean, when I went to these expos, one of my strategies I learned, one of the things I sort of like my bread and butter strategy for all my career is something I learned because I inadvertently kicked the guy's chair by mistake when I was crossing my legs, and I said sorry, and next thing you know, I have my trend-based strategy, or my option seminar where I went and I made the mistake in going in the wrong one, and I'm just try to be very respectful and just didn't want to walk out in the middle of the guy's speech. Now like 80% of my trades are option selling premium trades. So like, but we find these like hoppers that would keep going around, and I said, this is the problem I think with our trader community today, and they need to understand that we understand the work hours, we understand the things, but understand the business more.
People like seeing themselves as traders a lot, and I think it's good to see yourself as a trader, like you can make money trading. But could there be a bigger perspective? Or could you see yourself as more like a business owner or like an entrepreneur, as opposed to just a trader?
Yeah, actually, that's one thing that really we kind of realized. In fact, I brought it up. We went around the table in one of our sessions, and I said, "You know what, guys?" I says, "We're nothing special. We really aren't. I mean, we drive on the same side of the road. We have spouses that want us to take the garbage out every, Tuesday and Friday. I mean, look, all the same thing is what's like special about us?" And one of the speakers that were there says, "It's very simple, Michael. Is we have this entrepreneurial mindset. We think, first of all, I agree, we're trader junkies. Like, we love what we do. We're into it. One guy was saying that his wife would tell him, like, sometimes he struggled where his wife would tell him about his day, and all he kept thinking about was like the reaction to Nvidia on the earnings, like how it's going to react the next day. And we all started laughing, but like, that's what junkies do. Like, we're admitted. Like, we should have a little jail symbol on our chest or something like that. But there was an entrepreneurial spirit in on that table and in the breakout sessions, and quite honestly in the entire expo, which is kind of the reason why I go, kind of get the juices flowing. It's There was very like this business mindset where I'm going to take whatever it does to be successful. And these traders, and quite honestly, they were crushing it. And I mean, our equity curves, their curves blew mine away, to be honest with you. And I walked out where they're still hungry, like they're still learning, they still want more, they're still not satisfied. So, kind of a cool injection of motivation, but at the same time, they have this mindset that will not stop until they're successful.
This is interesting. A lot of people are trying to go from thing to thing. They're trying to go from like this thing to this thing. And then if this doesn't work, they go to something else. I know there's something good about like persevering in trading for sure. I've asked traders a few times like what is the main skill they need to succeed. All of them say perseverance like the main thing you need to do to be able to succeed. At the same time, like if it doesn't work, you might want to quit. What do you see the difference there? Is there a right time to quit for people, or what do you see is the perseverance versus quitting kind of mindset?
Something that it was an underlying tone. In fact, the one of the meetings got a little somber when we started talking about is one of the frustrations, and the coaching side of it was, and we all agreed to this, was when you have a really good trader and it just takes time, and they quit. They just give up. There's this sort of like their expectation. If there's sort of a gap between expectation and reality, the reality is, this road is choppy, and their expectation is kind of a straight line, and that gap is the quit zone. We talked about it, and a lot of good traders. I mean, there's a graveyard filled of almost great traders, and it pains me as a coach. There's somewhere I know just like life happens. It's not going to be absolutely for everyone, but there's somewhere like, oh, don't give up now. Don't give up now. And one of the cool things, Etienne, as a coach, like when you get those people to kind of hang in there and then the light goes on, and it's like the coolest thing in the world. But, we also notice that like their focus, the reason why is their focus is different. Their time expectations were too short, but their really focus was on strategy, things like, I mean, like I said, the napkin strategy. I mean, just, do that kind of stuff. But becoming a better you should be the better focus, because the markets, as you know, will expose every flaw that you have, right? So address them, overcome them. And I know it's not sexy, talk about psychology and confidence and things like that, but I mean, these are the people in the room who are crushing it. And I was so proud to be a part of that. And all we talked about was what we do to become better at ourselves, not about, we barely talked about setups. I mean, really, it was traders always talk about mindset and business acumen, business savvy.
Is there anything else you got away from that Trader Expo? Anything else you want to share with people here watching?
One takeaway I want to do is, and I did a monthly message to our members, earlier this morning too, is that I get it. I mean, I know it's kids are, got to go to school. I know, like, resort fees are through the roof in some of these hotels. I mean, I can't believe what I, paid. And I said, what do I get for these resort fees? Oh, you can get free incoming faxes. I'm like, what am I going to get an incoming fax for? I spent $70 on that. Anyway, I digress. But one of the things that I felt is missing, the missing link, is that we're so accustomed to Zoom meetings. The link, give me the recording and stuff, where there is nothing. I don't care what technology provides. And maybe I'm a little boomer, maybe I'm old school, but there's nothing like meet and greets, shaking hands, meeting mentors that you idolized, and sitting around with traders, just sharing everything. I mean, they just everything we had, we just gave out and reciprocated on and stuff, and it was great. Good times, a lot of good friendships. So I think what would be great, and I'd love to see, kind of getting back to old school, is sort of that community. I know it's so great just to do it in your own basement with a Zoom link, but get involved, go to meetups. If you have an expo in your country, I know it's a pain in the ass, but you know what? Make it a vacation. Go to Vegas, go to like Orlando or even London. Make it a trip. Just quick stories. I walked around one night after a good night at the expo and just walked the streets, the Strip in Vegas, and said, "How much is this really like? Is this been worth it?" Because I've been going 15 years now, and I basically came to the conclusion, as far as ROI, that it's priceless. I mean, it literally has changed my career. Those little one or two nuggets you pick up from each expo, they may not look like much, but then they build. And after about 5, 7, 8 years, you develop relationships, you build those little nuggets, and that really becomes the foundation of your business as a trader, and for me, really the main reason for my success.
It's good to go back to in-person stuff sometimes too. I know a lot of people love online. They love to be able to, like you said, jump on a Zoom, talk with someone that way, or just get a recording on YouTube. There's a lot of value in the in-person stuff, I believe. It's still good to connect with people. And sometimes you make connections that can kind of bring you forward a few years and kind of save you a ton of time and ton of effort doing the way, which is kind of pretty cool, definitely, to see it that way.
Yeah, it's become the norm where we're just, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean, that's why I like to get out, and I force myself sometimes. Like sometimes I'm just so busy, I don't want to do it, but like I force myself to go to these things, and sometimes they may not have the biggest ROI as other ones maybe, but it's those one or two people that you meet, that one or two nuggets. I mean, the one trader told me about, a particular thing that he does, to sort of when he's sort of in a drawdown or just not feeling well. And like he just does things like not go to the gym or anything. He just talks to someone. I said, well, who do you talk to? Anyone. And just let it out. And I says, that's interesting. I says, we have like programs to do all this stuff and psychology. And he goes, just like, I know what it takes to be successful. And I'm always focused on me. And when I get away from me and focus too much on markets, my results suffer. And like everybody in the room, we're just like, yeah, you're right. Like just these little sort of nuggets that you get. And and don't get me wrong. I mean, we had a lot of fun. It's a great town. And, who's going to shows, who's going to this, who's going to clubs. I was in bed by 10, but, it's just, it's a great trip. And we hope maybe next year we can get a big group and just flood that hotel with all, desired trade members. That would be really, really cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome for sure. So thanks, Michael, for being here and sharing your thoughts. Take 2 seconds to give a like the video. That would mean a lot for Michael and for I. We want to reach more people, be able to get this out to more traders who need it. And of course, you can always help. If you have any questions or things we can help you with, comment below the video. We'll be happy to do more videos on these questions and covering the things you need help with. And we'll catch you back here in the next video pretty soon. Ciao.